Hi guys, this is Shinji72. Today we will talk about Fallout 4 and mostly about what is wrong with Fallout 4. Because let's face it, a lot of people are disappointed with Fallout 4, me included. You can read about this in the forum, on the comments, in the not so high user review score. But you want to see some hard data? Okay, let's check some hard data. Look at this. I was really impressed when I saw this graph the other day. These are the YouTube overall worldwide search from 2011 up to present day. Red line is Skyrim, blue line is Fallout 4. After all the hype, Fallout 4 is almost back to the same level as Skyrim, a game which is 5 years old, an old game which kept people interested for a surprisingly long amount of time. Let's add another game to the mix, Witcher 3. And please notice how the Witcher 3 line is going down, but not as steep as Fallout 4. It's not only that I began playing Skyrim 1 year after it was published, but I already knew a lot about it because Skyrim was everywhere. It was almost impossible not to notice that Skyrim was out and people were playing it. Skyrim was kind of everywhere. There were, I remember, parodies, meme, music, songs about it. It really broke the border of the video game community to become a mass culture phenomenon. Clearly, the much hyped Fallout 4 is not following the same path. So far, the only thing I've seen around are pictures of settlements, and the beginning of the game, the character creation, which became a kind of meme, and that's all. So now, I'm not saying that Fallout 4 it's not a good game. What I'm saying is that if you compare it to other Bethesda games like Skyrim or previous Fallout games, well, it's missing something. Most of new players will be totally fine with it, but many old players of games like Skyrim or Fallout New Vegas will feel disappointed. And now I will try to explain why, in my opinion, of course. First of all, of course, bye-bye RPG, the role-playing element has gone quite down the drain with this game, and one of the biggest mistakes, in my opinion, is the story of the baby. Yes, it has been one of the main selling points of all Bethesda games. You can be whatever and whoever you want. You are supposed to be free with the experiment with many different characters, and every time you try to imagine their story, their background story. In the Elder Scrolls franchise, this is particularly evident. Usually you are a prisoner, and they tell you nothing about your past. You are supposed to figure out by yourself. So it's totally a fresh start. In Fallout 4, you are a father or a mother of a lost child. That's something very defining and clearly takes away a lot of freedom a lot of freedom to shaping your character. Now someone will stand up and say, yes, but also in Fallout 3 you were looking for your father. Yes, but guess what? I have a father, you have a father, everybody in the world has a father. So there is nothing specific in saying that you are looking for your father. Then, during the Fallout 3 intro scene, you had all the time to shape the personality of your character. Then in Fallout New Vegas, you were the courier, and that's just a job. Beside that, it was all left to your imagination, it was all blank. So I can understand that they were trying something new, but doing so they gave up something which was very important for all previous Bethesda game. And unfortunately it doesn't stop there. Many elements of a good role-playing game have been streamlined or dumbed down. The skills have gone. The karma system gone. There isn't even a criminal system. If you misbehave in Diamond City, the god will just try to kill you. But to me, one of the worst offender is the new dialogue system. The decision to have a voiced protagonist was a really bad one, and its consequences run deeper than you think. The most obvious one is that it's no more you, it's someone else. You hear someone else's voice, someone else's way of interpreting what you want to say. So it's no more your story, it's you are following someone else's story. But there is another bad consequence, the dialogue wheel. The voiced protagonist and the dialogue wheel are clearly connected. And let me explain how. In a typical Bethesda game, you are supposed to read all the lines you are allowed to say and then spend some time into thinking what your character would eventually say, to which of these lines will best fit your character personality. And that's really their main function, because most of the time different dialogue lines will have no real consequence. They will all lead to the same outcomes. But they are there because they allow you to impersonate someone, to create a character, to roleplay that character, that personality. And here it comes, Fallout 4, and what do we have? Sarcasm, no sarcasm, yes, maybe. And why is that? Of course, because there is a voiced protagonist. So of course you are supposed to wait and hear what your character says. To listen again to something you have already read would be a waste of time. But guys, that means that you are going to be surprised by what your character says. I mean, this is a huge U-turn from the old system. In Skyrim, you decide what you are going to say. In Fallout 4, you are going to be surprised by what these characters you are driving is going to say. After a while, you will always click the sarcastic option, because maybe at least will come out with something funny.
Did you say that like Dr. Frankenstein?
Igor, fetch me the brain! Igor.
So I felt this is a complete revolution, a complete departure from what Skyrim was. In a Bethesda game you are supposed to be active. In Fallout 4 you are becoming passive. You are more and more following someone else's story. So bye-bye RPG, and then what about the lack of content? In Skyrim you had 5 major towns, 4 minor towns, plus the villages. You had also 4 main guild quest line, mage, the assassins, thieves, the companions. 2 civil war faction and the main quest line. In Fallout 4 you have Diamond City, Good Neighborhood, and the settlements, which you built by yourself and are populated by random NPCs. There are no guilds, but there are 4 factions. But the factions are very interconnected with the main quest line. So in a way one could say that you have 4 variants of the main quest line. All in all, it's a lot less content. If you go around for location, usually you will find most of the time people shooting at you, where usually in Skyrim you will find someone, you will find a story, you will find some motivation to get into the dungeon. In Fallout 4 it's just it really feels all like just an excuse for a shooting. One clear example of that is the robot race here. The first time you got there, maybe you think there is something going on, somebody, some problem, somebody to talk to. No, they just shoot you the first moment you show up. In previous Bethesda game, it made sense for the so-called pacifist playthrough. Maybe it's not the way I would play, but it was nice to know that it was possible. That there was the possibility to have a pacifist playthrough. I don't think it will be possible or feasible in Fallout 4. Worse, it won't make really sense because the game is clearly designed as a shooting platform.
Tango down.
So, lack of content and then the quality of this content. I know this is a lot more personal. But if you compare a place like Whiterun, which has become almost iconical, people all over the world will instantly recognize this place, even if they haven't never played Skyrim. It will be the same for Diamond City?
Yes.
Just to keep talking about Whiterun, there were a lot of NPCs which were in a way memorable. Think about Nazim or Isolda. Really, they were secondary NPCs, but with just a few lines, with no main quest. But in a way, they managed to leave a lasting mark on you. They got impressed. People loved them or hated them. I just don't see the same happening in Fallout 4. Sure, some of the followers in Fallout 4 are nice. That system has been improved.
Alright, Piper. I'm in. Good.
But it feels like they have upgraded the followers and downgraded all the other NPCs. So in the end you have a nice bunch of followers, but they are living in a rather bleak and uninteresting world. Fallout 4 simply looks less intriguing, less crafted, more empty than Skyrim.
Just leave me alone.
And that's really a problem because after all you don't play a Bethesda game for the story. You play a Bethesda game because they give you a big sandbox open world which has its own dynamics, its own stories, its own lore, and then you are free to play your own game with this world. You are free to feel it with your own imagination. But to do so, you have to be in a way intrigued, interested by these little people, by all the people and all the situation which are going on this world. It did happen for me with Skyrim, but Fallout 4 just did not. Okay guys, sorry for the long rant. Tell me what you think. I've been disappointed by Fallout 4. I needed to make this video. It was something that was boiling inside of me for so long. People often say that Skyrim has been made big by the modding community. And I agree with that, of course, after all I am a YouTube modding community channel. But it's only partially true. Because first of all you had to create a game which was interesting enough, which was loved enough to have people keep playing it for 5 years, and so keep modding it for 5 years to make it perfect. And I just think Fallout 4 is not to that level. Anyway, in April they announced the creation kit finally, and we will see what happens. Maybe the modding community will raise my interest and bring me back to Fallout 4. But for the moment,
I'm still playing Skyrim. I'm still playing Skyrim.
this was Shinji72. Hope you enjoy. If you did, please subscribe. Join me on my Facebook page and also on Twitter if you want. And that's all for today. See you next. Bye. There is one feature from Fallout 4 I really appreciate.
Mr. Shinji?
I'm still playing Skyrim.